Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here for what I consider to be a very relevant and timely topic. I believe that drug addicts should receive the true help and support that they really need. Overdoses are the number one cause of accidental death in our country. In 2021 alone, there were over 107,000 fatal overdoses in the United States. Now, I'm going to repeat that statistic just to let that kind of sit in for a second. In 2021 alone, there were over 107,000 fatal overdoses in the United States. Upon graduating high school, I knew 10 teenage boys within the span of 5 or 6 months who all passed away. Most of them passed away from a fentanyl overdose. And this was really my first introduction to this crisis that our country and the world is going through right now. And it really just kind of woke me up, because I think the typical person, when they think of drug addicts, they usually think about maybe a homeless person on the streets, or just someone, that looks like that. But this was different. These were all upper middle class white boys from Raleigh, and it really just painted a different picture and opened my eyes to how addiction does not discriminate. Now I just want you to think of how many bright futures were shut off by taking a little bit more of a substance, and what those futures could have done and what they would be doing right now. I personally view drug addicts no different than I view obese people. I think that in both instances, they both wish that they were not in the situation, but they can't help it. And this will drive someone crazy, wanting to stop something and knowing it's harming them, yet keep doing it. And the drug addicts do not want to do drugs. It's a mental illness. I think that one of the things to begin the recovery process would be to start by having more open conversations with your kids, with your friends, just being honest, open, and trying to limit hiding as much stuff as possible. I think that so often it's people start using drugs and it's such a shameful thing, and then they don't want to reach out to get help to anyone because they're so ashamed. So therefore they just keep on the cycle, and it just gets worse and worse, and they just go into a spiral. I think that putting people in prison for drug possession, simple drug possession, will only perpetuate the cycle. I think that it'll just create repeat offenders. I don't think that it's truly reforming anyone inside the prison system. And so really we have to start from the ground up. So some things that I recommend for you guys just to be cognizant about is that drug addicts are struggling, and they're dying inside, and that can be extremely hard because they know that potentially society could have a lot of judgment towards them, which in the past society has. I think that it'd be fantastic to see the United States really just open up and come together and just treat this as it should be, as a health disorder, and not just a crime, because this is much deeper than that, and everyone who uses drugs has something going on mentally, or else they would not be addicted. A few things locally that can help out on the scene is they have Narcotics Anonymous meetings, which is similar to Alcoholic Anonymous meetings, except for it's with drugs. And this is a place where addicts can go and just talk about their experiences and relate to people who they feel are similar to them, and get more education on the topic, and just more support and resources which they would need. Another thing, if you go, you can contact your local pharmacy, and you may have to pay for it, but some of the pharmacies, they have what's called Narcan. And what this is it reverses an overdose, so that if someone overdoses, you just put this in your nose and spray it, and then that should be able to revive them. I got this not for me, just to keep in my car, just because I live in Los Angeles, and there's a lot of drug addiction going on, and just, you never know where you'll see it. In closing, I think that this needs to be just a more broadly talked about subject, and I think that it would be in the best interest of society and these individuals who are struggling with drug addiction, to begin treating them more as patients and not as criminals. Thank you for listening.